Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Another tips and tricks from GamerDad. I want to talk about how I do some of my go live and advertisements. You've already seen some of my personalized graphics using my faded logo and the gradient background. What I wanted to talk about this time is a slightly different methodology. The other video you have already seen, the link is going to be below, follows the rule of thirds, breaking everything up into 1/3 quadrants and kind of making sure everything's centered and brings in the right kind of attention. I want to talk about something a little bit different here, and that's called the golden circle. Still a very new concept to me. I'm going to make it very simple, very basic, because there's still some more advanced techniques to it that I'm still trying to refine on my own use. But essentially, this other type of setup allows for you to put the main focal point off center on the image using some basic math of the Fibonacci sequence. You almost like a seashell with that spiral expanding out. You can set your graphics up in a similar way. It draws their attention and lets their eyes flow around the image. Again, very new to me. I'm not giving it as much of the attention that it deserves, but I want to show you how different it can make an image. What you see here is my original rough draft. I actually went live with this image before really refining through the golden circle technique. You can see a couple of things that stand out. One of the attendees of the podcast, one of our guests, a little bit bigger, draws a little bit more attention to him. The season 2 text overlapping his hand, True Talk podcast. So it doesn't feel like it flows very well. Look how close this is to his forehead. Okay. Now, I want to show you what it would look like after I refined it with the golden circle. It's going to be very subtle, but it makes a big difference. At least for me, I feel a lot better about the graphics. There you go. You fill up a little bit more of the space. You can see impending duff doesn't really take up as much of the attention. It makes us all part of the same team. Brought down the episode 5 caption here, moved over season 2 and moved over the logo, right? So one more time, I'm going to flash between the two. Here's before. And here's after. And you can ignore the squiggly lines. That's just because I'm in the editor and it thinks I've got some typos, for example. All right. So, what does this all mean? How did I get here? How do I know to move everything around in a specific way? Well, the golden circle. The black spiral, right? You're breaking everything down. Here's your central focus, right? You're going to start in this spiral. And we're going to focus around here. So you can see that most of the graphics are in this bottom right quadrant. Starting almost... I could have done a little bit more tweaking. Like I could take Jim and I can move him over a little bit. We can get a little bit more cozy. And then I can take Duff. I've got too many of these people on here. And I can bring him over a little bit. So more of our image is a little bit more in that section. We could do a couple of tweaks there. That's fine. So our eyes start here and we go around. So this is what we're going to start looking at, right? Just boom. And then we're going to see up here, boldly go. I could move this a little bit more. Again, I'm still learning this in a way that I could be more of an expert on talking about it. But the general concept is we're going to move around. We're going to see episode 5, boldly go. And then come over to the True Talk podcast in season 2. This is all kind of one piece. What I did with the True Talk image is you can see that I moved it. What I was originally doing, I had it over like this to where the image itself was cornered and then expanded it. You know, it just, we resized and we moved a little bit. Don't be afraid to have some of your image actually go off of the space. It'll be fine as long as the actual graphic itself is where you need it. So that's very easy. It's very subtle. Now, how I compose the overall image. If I turn off everything, I started with the background. This is a background I got from True Gaming, who hosts the podcast. This is just something that they had designed or developed or used for it in the past. So we brought it in. And then I grabbed the logo. This is just a standard logo that they provided to me. And we talked about specific fonts. So I went and grabbed the same kind of font that they're using today. So if I bring a lot of this back in, all I've really done, again, this is going to be a template. I'm getting ready to do episode 6. We're going to edit this, bring in the name of the next person, which I will now go grab for correct spelling. And then the other part is Jim and I, not Gemini, will be doing this together. And I only have one image of him. I've got too many of me. There we go. So we can hide that one. Right, so I've already done this for a few of them. What I want to do is go grab the image from Silent Ghost, which will open the original. We're going to copy the image and we're going to paste it. Okay, so he doesn't look like he's really ready for this. Right. Nice, clean, crisp image. He took a picture for me, sent it to me. Great. This doesn't look like it fits in with the rest of it because we have a background. This is super easy to fix though. We're going to grab the pen tool. You can do this anywhere. I've seen plenty of YouTubes on this. So this is not intended to be your YouTube tutorial on how to use the pen tool, but let's get into it and try it anyway. So we're just going to start off screen. We're going to come on up here. And sometimes this all blends in. So we'll just come up here. And we're just going to trace all the way around them. This takes some getting used to. I'm doing this with the mouse. Part of his shirt wrinkles. No big deal. We'll just... Oh, and we're going to crash out. That's fine. Ultimately, what you want to make sure of is... Alright, so we've got what we're going to do is we're going to do this off screen, but essentially what you're going to do is you take your image, you take your pen tool, you carve them out, you give a little bit of a white background. For example, we'll hide some of these. And we'll turn this one on, okay? What we ultimately want to do is bring an outline. We want to bring an outer glow. So one of the things that you're going to want to do is just bring a glow effect. It's very subtle. In fact, if I bring this down, you can see some more of that glow effect. It just kind of brings some accent piece. This is probably too small. There we go. So what I'll do, just for kind of setup here, right, it's going to be me, and you can see on the image that my shoulder is cut off, which is fine. We can work with that easily because I'm going to have Jim, you look so tiny. And we're gonna have this big boy right here. So here's the cool thing. Let's bring those down. Let's grab Ghost. we're going to turn back on our golden circle. So GamerDad over here. Grindhead Jim. Move. And we'll grab Ghost. Alright, so maybe we'll put Ghost over here. We will not move that. Don't move that. We'll grab Jim. Maybe we'll have Jim kind of sitting behind him. So I think I need you a little bit bigger. And maybe over more. And then we'll have Jim maybe kind of behind him. That'll be fine. We'll bring him down a little bit. And then we'll bring me over. And we will fill me in right here. So that's going to be awkward, right? So here's the problem. If we order this correctly, no, not like that. If we put me in front of Jim, problem is he's gonna be lost. So ignore the background here. We're gonna have too many gaps. So what I need to do, put me over here. We'll put Jim behind me, which means Jim needs to be... Jim, you got such a big head. Okay, so if we put Ghost and I together, and then we bring Jim in over top of that, you can see that the way Jim is, he's going to be behind us, and then the two of us will be side by side. And it's going to be hard to tell because we got to cut out Ghost a little bit, but Ghost's body and shoulder and arm here will kind of trace down across Jim's chest, blocking out this void here at the bottom and the awkwardness of this shoulder. So I could even, you know, it all depends on how we do it. We can squeeze this all together, and then look, boom, we're kind of in that third. We're kind of in this section here, and then around. Now, one of the things that I will want to do, I'm going to want a couple of my own profile images, so I'll have more than 2 of mine, because I could also just kind of sneak my creeper lean in here as well instead. That's always a good one, of Jim and I side by side, and then our guest on the left. It's always a good way to go, but what we're going to want to do is mix it up with a couple more profile images of Jim, a couple more of me. This way we have some things to change every time. Doesn't want to be the same stale image in the bottom right corner. So next, we're going to come around here. We're going to grab our text tool, and okay. Boom. All we're going to do is just change around the text. We're going to move it. Let's look at this again. Nope, not that. Let's not move that. I'm just going to center this kind of within the box. And then we're going to leave Season 2 alone over here. I kind of like how this takes up a lot more of the real estate. And there you go. That's going to be all there is to it. I've got to fix Silent Ghost's image, obviously, to make sure that this all comes together. But that's going to be the general concept. We're going to focus on the guys down here. We're going to come around and then show you what the episode is, and then leave the rest of it here for True Talk, taking up the major meat of the space on this left side. Okay, and this is just a different way of doing things, but it's a good shot at a different look, a different style, instead of having everything just centered and branch around it. Again, still some more refinement to do. I've got to go ahead and edit Silent Ghost's image to cut him out. I've got to go ahead and move us around to make sure that we all fit correctly, and tweak it Otherwise, we're going to be good to go to send this out and advertise on tomorrow. So thank you guys very much for watching. Please put any comments or questions in the comment section below the video. I'd love to do more tutorials, both through YouTube Live or on Twitch on Mentor Mondays. So thank you again for watching. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.